Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Kelvin and I'm here to show you guys on how to make something like this. Alright, so without wasting much of your time, let's jump right into the video. Alright, so the first thing that I did was I made shapes. Alright, so let's just go here. Just a moment. Alright, so like a circle here, something like this, and then center it, then just go here and then say canvas and then center it like so. Right, and then let's just resize it a bit somewhere like here. Right, and then just Ctrl J on your keyboard, so duplicate it. So the one which we have duplicated, let me just change its color so that you can see the difference. And then we're just going to like resize it somewhere like here. So we need to make like the pattern inside here, and then we need to make sure that it's inside here it's making sense. So let me just resize this a bit somewhere like here. Okay, and then make a selection of this and then add a new group. So in this new group we're going to like add the texture, which were the stars. So this group we're going to say BG, which is background, and then add a layer mask, something like this. So the layer mask is only applying where it's not red, so let me just turn this off. So the layer mask is only applying here, so we're just going to invert this, and then it's going to be like the layer mask is applying on the outside, and then here at the center it's not applying, right? So as you can see there. And then let me just get another image which I will place somewhere here, that, and then let me just resize this image, resize it somewhere like there, and then open up your group and then place it inside the group. Right, for you to see what's really going on here, let me just use an image of someone. All right, so we're going to use this image for the Ben Gogo, and then make sure you have these shapes here. Right, so don't throw these shapes away. So we're going to like have a like big someone like so, like this big, and then place her right here, and then that's dope. Make a selection of this one, and then make another group here, which will be this, and then we say BG2, and then we're going to keep it like that. So for BG2 we're going to have like a layer mask here, right? So it's going to be reflecting inside. So inside it's going to be visible. Let me just place the image which is supposed to be inside there. And there you go. Let me just rotate it somewhere like this. Going to have a little bit smaller like so. Okay, and then we're going to have it like that, and then place this image inside this. Right, so we're going to have this group or this shape on top here, and then just make sure that the fill is off, and then add a stroke. So the stroke is going to be like, let's make it red so that it's visible enough. All right, and then let's go with 12, and then let's copy these same numbers, and then take this one and then move it all the way to the top somewhere like here, and then remove the fill and then add the stroke, so something like that, and then make sure it's also 12. So we have everything made like that. Then drag this on top here, and then select her, and then add this layer mask. All right, and then once you add into the layer mask, and then just name a group act. All right, so this is what should belong. All right, and then now for the next stage, which will be like a little bit weird, hopefully that you understand. Right, so just double click here, and then make a gradient now. All right, so this is what now the tricky part is. All right, make a gradient. So on this same gradient, just make sure that you make it shiny. So we're going to have a lot of dark colors like black, so here's the black, and then a lot of gray colors, which is this gray, and then we also have the white here, and then we're going to have like the white, the black here, things like this. All right, so we're going to have it like let's take the white, then place it here, and then a little bit somewhere like that, and then take this white, place it there, and then place another white here, take this gray, place it here, and then take another gray here, white there, and then something like that, and then something sharp like so, right? If you want something like this, or let's just remove it and then remain it with that, and then remove also here, and then the black is too much. We're going to like make it somewhere like here, and then make it sharp, okay, somewhere like that. And then once we have something like this, we can also now rotate it maybe 45 degrees somewhere like here, or we can rotate it 0 degrees somewhere like here. Right, it's no pressure, we're going to keep it like that. Let's now go to the stroke. So on the stroke here, just group the stroke, and then double click here, and then just change the color to, maybe I was hoping gray, should make sense. All right, something like that. Let's go on the bevels. So we have the bevels somewhere like that, and then resize them, okay, not too much, or somewhere like that. Resize them by 1%. Let's see. Okay, I think this is pretty much okay. So let's just try to change them from here. I think this is okay. Okay, press okay, and then you should have something like that. And then take these effects and then place them here on each one individually, one by one, and then just name this group and then just say stroke. All right, so we have the stroke. Right, we want to fix these to look more nice. At this stage now, I'm just going to fix everything one by one so that everything makes sense. Make a gradient map. So on this gradient map, I'm just going to remove the layer mask, right, and then let's just change some changes to something nice, right, and then something like that, and then change this to somewhere like here. All right, I think this should be a little bit darker, somewhere like that, and then we should remain with something like this. And then once you remain with something like this, now at this stage now we can do some color grading, but we're not going to do color grading. I do have my own filters that I use. If you want them, you can just text me and then I'll send it to you, or I'll just share the link. All right, I'll just share the link so that you guys might have them. All right, so this is the group, so I'll just drag this on top here, and then it should look somewhere like that. All right, so once it looks something like this, now the other thing that we're supposed to do here is pretty much simple and pretty much straightforward. So we're just going to take this background here and then drag it down here. All right, okay, so at this stage now, I'm just going to make a selection, open up the strokes, right, make a selection. Firstly, we're going to make the selection of the one inside, and then control and then alt, and then we're going to subtract this one, and then take this, group it like so, and then say circle texture. I think circle texture will make sense, and then move it on top of the act somewhere there, and then just add a layer mask, and then it should be something like this, and then group it. And all right, group it, and then add color lookup, and then color lookup, just clip it here, and then go here, and then let's try crisp winter. All right, so crisp winter is going to give us something like this. All right, so once we have something like this, now the other thing that we're supposed to do now is, all right, so take the same one and then drag it on the background section, which is here, and then we're going to change one. So I do change one of the color lookup 1010. So we're just going to like even 10 on the color balance, and then move it on the blue side because I want this to be more blue than this. All right, and then I do have another tool which I use. This one is from the camera raw. So I drag this here, and then drag the effect on top of the with the smart object of the act. All right, and then it's going to look, the screen is going to look something like this. All right, so once we have something like this, now we're going to control the white. All right, so we're going to control the white, which is here. Now let's just try to make another color lookup. All right, so we're going to go with AG Ember. So since we have AG Ember here, I think even the background should look different. So let's just try it like background 2. We should try this, and then it should look something like that. Now the other thing that we can do here is take a gradient here, and then just make it circular. All right, ratio radius, right, something like so, right, and then drag it down here. It shouldn't be black, it should be dark good. Double click on it, now fix it. Okay, so it's going to look something like that, and then don't forget, and then go on this background and then just say color lookup and then drop blue. All right, so we're going to drop the blue out of the way, and then add a little bit of contrast to it, so it's going to look somewhat like that. Okay, so once it's like that, now the other thing that we're supposed to do now is just go here on top on the act, and then add a new layer, or you can add just a gradient if you want. Let's just use it manually. All right, and then just paint black down here. All right, something like that, and then we reduce the opacity, and then it should have something like this. Now let's deal with the texture. Let's deal with the text. All right, so let's just click here and then make our own text. So Dear Ben Gogo. Now let's change the font. Okay, now let's just change the color to white, and then let's now change the font now to something nice. I was thinking this, just take it somewhere there, resize it, double click on the name. Let's just move it here and then move this here. Now let's add some glow to it, somewhere like here. Okay, so let's just add the glow, something like that, and then just a bit somewhere like here, somewhere like here, and then other glows, then just increase it somewhere like here, and then more, reduce the spread, and then it should be something like this. Okay, and then let's try to change the font again. I think I'm not liking this one. Okay, and then resize it somewhere like here, double click on the name. Let's just, I want the name to be big, but it shouldn't touch the edges of the circle. So let's just now try to do something like the spaces. Okay, somewhere like that, and then the paragraph I think somewhere like here, and then it should be big somewhere like that. I think this is what I was looking for. All right, and then at this point now, let's go into the filters. So the filters, they work very nicely here. Okay, depend with how you want to use and how you want them to be. Okay, so just try to add one more color lookup on top here, and then we should be done. Okay, let's just search for something nice. Let's see which one makes sense. I think I even love this one, soft warming look. So soft warming look, I love when I use soft warming look, and then I add a contrast on top, and then maybe reduce the brightness or increase it, or something like this. I think this is okay. You see how it's looking now. All right, let's now add some last element here, which is the moon. The moon just makes sense. All right, so here's the moon. Now let's move it all the way to the back on this one, right? And then just resize it if you want, somewhere like here. And then let's add brightness and contrast, and then reduce the brightness, and then increase the contrast, and then duplicate this, and then increase the brightness, somewhere like here, and then again here, and then reduce the contrast, somewhere like here. Okay, let's just move it down here, and then duplicate these even on top, somewhere like here. Okay, and then group these, and then try to do something like that. Okay, and then that's how I made this. That's how you make something like this. If you have some questions, you can always ask, and just want to give you guys some ideas so you can add your own logos here, different types of things you can add here. So let me just show you how you can do it. So let me just take a logo like here, resize it well, and then let's just change the color to something like this, and then you can always add like a gradient on the side, or you can add something like here, and then there you go. And then that's how you make something like this without wasting much of your time. My name is Kelvin. Thank you for watching, guys. Peace out.